If you've ever wondered why some relationships feel like emotional roller coasters, while others feel like safe havens, this video will change everything. I'm about to reveal 7 psychology-backed red flags that silently destroy love, and most people miss them completely. By the end of this video, you'll have the emotional intelligence to protect your heart and recognize these toxic relationship patterns before they damage your mental health. Let's dive in. Welcome back to the channel. If you're new here, we explore psychology facts and relationship advice that actually works. Today we're talking about something crucial: the warning signs that predict relationship failure. According to psychology research, these 7 red flags appear in 90% of toxic relationships, yet most people ignore them. Hit that subscribe button because this information could literally save your heart from unnecessary pain. The first red flag is love bombing. When someone overwhelms you with excessive attention, gifts, and affection early on, then suddenly pulls back. This is classic narcissistic personality disorder behavior. Here's the psychology behind it. They're creating an addiction cycle in your brain. The intense highs followed by confusing lows trigger your attachment system, making you chase their validation. Real example: they text you 50 times a day for 2 weeks, call you their soulmate, then suddenly become distant and barely respond. Your brain interprets this as, "I must try harder to get that feeling back." This destroys your emotional intelligence and self-worth over time. If someone's affection feels too intense too quickly, then disappears, that's your mental health warning system telling you to step back. Red flag number 2 is gaslighting. When they make you question your own memory, perception, and sanity. This psychology tactic is devastating because it attacks your core sense of reality. They'll say things like "that never happened," "you're being too sensitive," or "you're remembering it wrong." Here's what's happening in your brain. Constant gaslighting creates cognitive dissonance. Your mind knows something feels wrong, but you start doubting yourself. This is how toxic relationships rewire your neural pathways to depend on their version of reality instead of trusting yourself. Psychology fact: gaslighting victims show similar brain patterns to people with PTSD. Your mental health literally changes when someone consistently invalidates your experiences. Trust your gut. If you find yourself constantly questioning whether you're crazy or too sensitive, you're likely being gaslit. The third psychological sign is systematic isolation. They gradually separate you from friends, family, and anyone who might offer perspective on the relationship. This isn't accidental. It's a calculated move to increase their control. The psychology here is simple. Isolated people are easier to manipulate. When you lose your support network, you lose external reality checks. Your emotional intelligence becomes compromised because you only have their input to rely on. Watch for these patterns. They create drama with your friends, make you feel guilty for spending time with family, or constantly need you available for them. Healthy relationships encourage your other connections. Toxic ones destroy them. Your mental health depends on having multiple perspectives and support systems. If someone is threatened by your other relationships, that's a massive red flag. Red flag 4 is emotional manipulation. Emotional manipulation through guilt, shame, and fear. They use your emotions against you to get what they want. Common phrases include, "If you loved me, you would," "After everything I've done for you," or "You're just like everyone else who hurt me." This psychology tactic works because it hijacks your empathy and compassion. Your brain's mirror neurons make you feel their pain, even when it's manufactured to control you. This is especially effective against people with high emotional intelligence. Your strength becomes your weakness. The mental health impact is severe. You start walking on eggshells, constantly worried about their emotional state while neglecting your own needs. Healthy love doesn't require you to sacrifice your well-being to maintain someone else's happiness. If you feel responsible for managing their emotions while yours are ignored, you're being manipulated. The fifth sign is inconsistent behavior that keeps you guessing. One day they're loving and attentive, The next, they're cold and distant. This isn't moodiness. It's a psychology pattern called intermittent reinforcement. Here's the science. Intermittent reinforcement is the most addictive behavioral pattern known to psychology. It's the same principle behind gambling addiction. Your brain releases dopamine hoping for the good version of them to return, creating a powerful psychological addiction to the relationship. This destroys your emotional intelligence because you're constantly trying to decode their behavior instead of focusing on your own needs and boundaries. You start believing you can earn consistent love through perfect behavior. The truth is, healthy relationships provide consistent emotional safety, not emotional slot machines. Red flag 6 is consistent boundary violations. They push past your no, ignore your limits, and make you feel guilty for having boundaries at all. This is a direct attack on your autonomy and self-respect. The psychology behind this is power and control. Boundaries represent your individual identity. When someone consistently violates them, they're essentially saying your autonomy doesn't matter. This gradually erodes your sense of self and your mental health. Examples include showing up uninvited after you asked for space, going through your phone despite your objections, or pressuring you sexually when you've said no. Your emotional intelligence tells you something is wrong, but they make you feel like you're being difficult or unreasonable. Trust that inner voice. Your boundaries are not negotiable. The final red flag is projection. They accuse you of behaviors they're actually doing themselves. Cheaters accuse you of cheating. Liars call you dishonest. Manipulators say you're controlling them. This psychology defense mechanism allows them to avoid accountability while making you defensive. Here's what happens in your brain. When someone constantly blames you for their behavior, you start internalizing their criticism. Your mental health suffers because you're always defending yourself instead of recognizing their projection. They're literally transferring their guilt and shame onto you. Psychology fact: projection is a primitive defense mechanism that toxic people use unconsciously. If someone consistently accuses you of things you're not doing, look at their behavior. They're usually describing themselves. These 7 psychology signs: love bombing, gaslighting, isolation, emotional manipulation, inconsistent behavior, boundary violations, and projection, are your roadmap to protecting your heart and mental health. Remember, recognizing these red flags isn't about judging others. It's about developing the emotional intelligence to choose relationships that nurture your well-being. If you recognize multiple signs in your current or past relationships, please know that healing is possible. Your psychology and mental health can recover from toxic relationship patterns. Which of these 7 signs resonated most with you? Share in the comments below. Your story might help someone else recognize these red flags. Don't forget to subscribe for more psychology facts and relationship advice that protects your emotional intelligence. Until next time, remember, you deserve love that feels safe, consistent, and respectful.